Hi. We're just about to hang some washing up. It's so much easier. Now we've got solar panels up to do washes during the day and not remember to put them on at night and do the timer and stuff. Don't know if you can see that. That's the smart meter. It's Tuesday today with 35p. 35p we've spent. So it starts on midnight on Monday. So since Sunday midnight Sunday, which is the early hours of Monday morning, 1 kilowatt hour and 1.03 kilowatt hours. No, it'll be okay out the front. We're just going to go out the back. And we've used more than that, but that's what it's been recorded to be used. Because, we're using the overflow energy, so that's minimising stress. So we're just doing this quick video because it's about awareness. It's an awareness vlog about connections and learning to get out of the head. Not get out of the head, but get stuff out of our head. Learning to be better with our words. There was a long video we did the other morning, which we feel belonged on our Shinto channel. We're still, struggling, dancing with that dance, complicated dance. Learning the steps of that complicated dance. And we've watched it all back. Hard work that was. Because we don't finish things and we repeat things, but we repeat things which we have to remind ourselves because it's different ones of us saying it. So it's really good that we repeat things from that perspective if it's different ones of us saying it, because it means there's different ones of us that are learning and knowing the same things and connecting, I suppose. And the awareness journey of waking up and being aware in the moment of doing something that we're not able to change yet, or one's not able to change in the moment because they're staying awake in the moment. It's taken all the energy and effort to stay awake and aware in the moment with the witnessing eyes, the witnessing consciousness, and then to watch that back and then to be compassionate with oneself and not judge. It's amazingly challenging. But we're doing really well with it. We've done that and we're really chuffed with some of the stuff that's said, but then it's like we see the old us was amazing, but there's aspects of us that we're just not keen on, and the things that we're not keen on are the things that we recognise in the other people that we're not keen on, and that we notice ourselves. We notice some of us inside internally judging, because other ones of us are having conversations with these ones that are judging, and then there's other ones that come in. It's in here, and so when we're managing it. And we're managing to stay gently and slowly busy. There's a canine just believing itself, and number 2. It's all about elimination of waste, elimination of the toxins. So we're losing our trail. We're attempting to stay with it, talking about being compassionate with oneself, witnessing oneself. So with the videos, because there's lots of amazing information in there, but then we don't use the right words sometimes, we use wrong. We don't use wrong words, don't use the right words. That's the same, So it's really, we're staying co-conscious with it more, and it's really, really challenging, but we're succeeding. But we wanted to do this video because we needed to communicate out loud, and we don't have anyone to do that with, and so this is our connection point, showing our process to us and others, and that's okay. And sometimes we do it a lot and there isn't really the balance and the moderation, but that's okay. We're aware of it, and all of that will come. The first stepping stones, well, it's not the first stepping stones, but the stepping stones we're on is being aware from very many different perspectives with what's going on for us. I mean, it's hard enough just being a one personality doing this, let alone multiple. And we've noticed, and we noticed it in Zen, we noticed it in ourselves, but there's ones of us that notice it and it doesn't really kind of come out or really get noticeable until we see it in the external. We've got beautiful sounding worm here. Wow, hello. And then we've got our beautiful boys and Daya here, who we've made a little bed for, and we put up a we just did a great screenshot. We made a little bed for. I don't know if you can see the bit of wool on that far. So you've got the first rectangular one, the second, then there's a little piece of wool on the floor. I don't know if that's much better. And we did just put a scarf across the top to make a little shaded den. Look at that matrix we just walked through. Proud of our structure there. And but he hasn't got to it yet. He keeps laying on the other beds, and we want the fennel seeds to grow. Oh, and another bit of interest and excitement was this morning when we were sitting out on the garden over there to get us to mindset and to get us to be able to do stuff, because we're just not been feeling it mentally, or we've been in pain or tired. It's just been, yeah, lots of things going on. So a few times, so we sit there and observe. We had our elderflower. Oh, I think we had the tea first, didn't we? So we've been putting the remnants of the elderflower and ginger cordial that made it into a pan and just boiled it up. So we do like a second brew, boiled it up with water, made like a tea, and then the pineapple skins, leftover pineapple skins, and some other of the lemons and limes, we put that in a pan and with hot water and made a tea with that, and that's in the fridge at the moment, so it can be like iced tea, or we can add some boiling water to it. And the cordials, oh, amazing, so good. And we just went to the shop and bought some sparkling water, so that we could make it into fizziness, and it's just so good. And then we've got the bottles afterwards that we can use, so we're going to go and harvest some more and make some more champagne and some more cordial, and then keep harvesting the flowers as much as we can, because we can dry them. And then they can keep us going, because the cordial's yummy. And what's really interesting is what came to us, which we haven't actually vocalised out loud. So let's see how this flows out. It's just near, it's not really close, but it's like the end of a lane, end of the road. Like, how many houses would you say is worth? Maybe 10, 15 houses. And then there's a school at the end. And so you get a lot of kids and parents walk down this lane past the elderflower tree. So the elderflower tree is absorbing all the energetics of all these children going to school every day, and they're going to school to learn. And so this elderflower tree has all these energetics in, and the flowers have those energetics in. And so this is what came to us the other day, is that because we haven't managed to go and harvest the hawthorn flowers and leaves to dry and make tea, which we really want to, but that isn't enough drive to get us to do it. Whereas the elderflowers we have, and hi, all right. And so one reason is the one we're about to say, and another reason, because there's always multiple reasons, is the elderflowers smell amazing, and our sense of smell is it's a really strong sensory system for us. So I suppose it's activating our sensor, what's it, olfactory or something I think it's called, sensory system, and it's stimulating that. But the other reason is it's getting all this energetics from all these different children going to school to learn in the morning, and this is what we're attempting to tap into. And that probably actually links on to what we're about to talk about in a moment, because that was the catalyst. Just, we're learning how we're learning, and it's really good, but we're having to do this flow state. The planning isn't happening, the brain networks aren't there, we've gone on to a reset again, so it's like we've had everything wiped and having to start all over again. And this is what keeps happening, but this is the first time we've vocalised it out loud. And the ability to vocalise it out loud like this came because we noticed it in ourselves, a few of us, and then we noticed it in Zen. So Zen's behaviour and Zen's actions we're having to retrain him and say things again. And it's been a while since this has happened. So when we notice that on our external, Zen, no, please, darling, no, there's a leak there. Come on, darling, come on, please. We've just had this conversation. It's interesting you're doing this just. Zen, the tomomo. Come on. I know you look so comfortable and so happy, but our seeds aren't. They're never going to grow. Yes, thank you. So that's really interesting. You just did that then, because we could shout at him and get angry, and we don't. We really do our best at being good with our tone of voice and our energy, even though it's like, oh my god, I can't believe you're doing that again, please don't. But so that's not there. That occasionally it kind of comes out a bit more agitated, but the majority of the time it doesn't. So that's really good management of our emotions. But our learning and everything, and especially when we go on to reset again, which is understandable after big moon energies, and then we said we were coming down, didn't we, after those videos. So we know the pattern, but to be so aware and co-conscious and present with the pattern, it's hard work. It feels like you just keep on going backwards and keep on going backwards, but we know we have to hold on to hope. And I know some of us know there's a reason for this and why it's happening, and they know energetically and they understand energetically, but it doesn't help when you're in it and you're really experiencing those emotions, and it just feels like you're on Groundhog Day. But we're not, because we know there's this really deep internal stuff going on, and this is the deep foundations, and if the foundations aren't stable and strong, and we're still healing, we're still doing so much stuff, so we have to be patient, we have to be gentle. So yeah, it does actually. It's weird how it all interlinks again. I've kind of lost the elderflower flowers. It's the nose and the fact that it's absorbing all these energies from the kids going to learn of the different ages, because it's a junior school, so that's up to about 11. And it's the family we talked to that walked past in the morning. They just got 2 cats, and number 5 came up again. One's called Marina, one's called Star. They came from Spain, both females. One's ginger and white tabby, ginger and white, and the other one's tabby. And it's just interesting because we've not heard of these rescued cats coming from other countries. And to Abadosa, Cindy's from Awakening to Spirits cat that's now called Larry. So this we see is like Russell from Rustling Around has just gone round and connected with the land, with the energy, and now Jenny Florence is connecting with the land and the energy and doing tarot card readings. We feel that this is the nature's way, but it's not nature's way, because there was someone that catalyzed it to start with, but it's animals taking the energy from one land country and bringing it to another, so the alchemization of the energies, different energies, can really come together to create a global symbiotic harmony of peace on earth, heaven on earth type thing, for want of better words. And that's what we've done our whole life. We just haven't had the conscious awareness that we've done it, and we've always gone to museums, and even though we've never really liked museums, mind you, Wellington and that museum in Wellington, New Zealand, was really good because you didn't have to read anything. You could push a button and put headsets on and listen to it. So again, that's our dyslexia coming out, isn't it? But we'd always go to art museums and do the things you were meant to do, and I'm really glad we did it, even though it wasn't necessarily what we wanted to do. So we really experienced a lot of culture from different countries, and energies, native tribes, all kinds of things, and here as well. But it's only now in our conscious awareness, the energetic exchange and what was happening and going on then, is taking play, and that's how we're understanding the energy that's going on now with the elderflower trees and the flowers and the kids, and how that's the main driving force to get the elderflowers and to make the elderflower champagne and to make the elderflower cordial. The elderflower champagne is there because it probably will be alcoholic, I suppose, and it's bringing a bit more of it, but it's all natural. It's honey, there's no sugar. It's honey, it's elderflowers, it's limes, it's lemons, it's shungite filtered water, and the most important thing is we've made it, so it's really strengthening that constructive feedback loop of information, out and in of the senses, in and out, out and in, because we've put the energy into making it, and then we're having it back again, and we talk to it and we give it love, and we're like, we're so grateful for you, and then like we really enjoy it, and it's really yummy. And then there's the pride of making it as well. I mean, we haven't sterilised the glasses. We need to bottle it up. We haven't sterilised it because we haven't done the washing up, and the kitchen just gets into a bit more of a mess. But that's okay because it's only us drinking it, and that's where we're at. And so, you know, if we wait to sterilise it, we have to use the energy to figure out how to sterilise it and do the rest of it, and that's just not happening. And so earlier on, it was just kind of after we came off a phone call, and to start with, the fact we even made the phone call when we haven't been able to do any of this for months is amazing. And we just get embarrassed even saying that because it's just one single phone call. We used to do stuff like this all the time, and now just to do one single phone call like this is just such a challenge. And I suppose there's a lot of embarrassment or shame. We don't know the words for the emotions, but it's hard work to acknowledge that we feel like we've lost our mind and we've lost our capability. And this is obviously what old people feel like with the degeneration and deterioration, and having to accept it with the current, the way current society belief systems are. So it's getting into beliefs and stuff. And then we couldn't even do the phone call because of the questions that we were being asked. Like, it was a computer tune-up. When we got our Norton subscription, you could get £10, had to be used in 30 days, and do a computer tune-up. And we were like a few days out of the 30 days. First of all, we thought it had been missed it because it was the 6th to the 6th, which would have been 31 days, but the email was sent on the 10th, so luckily that was okay. But then he was asking all these questions, whereas we thought he'd just kind of, tell us to go in and do a few different things, like delete these files, go into this folder, delete these files, do this, do that. But I suppose there's so many different things one can do to make your computer get better. And he was asking, well, what's going on with your computer? What's slow about how you're doing this? And how long has it been for? And it was like, well, we don't know. We can't answer those questions. And we were getting really stressed because we couldn't answer them. And then we're getting a bit more stressed because we could feel him getting stressed with us, and we explained the situation. So then it was just like, well, okay, we'll put you onto someone else and you can have a refund. So we got put onto someone else. He gave us a case number and said that the number would deal with it and we wouldn't have to go through loads of questions again. But of course we did have to go through loads of questions because it's a new person. And then the option was to get a refund or to have an extra 60 days. So we thought, well, okay, we're struggling with money, we'll just get a refund. But then she was going to put us onto another person, and we couldn't do any more talking to new energy and new people. So this is really good because we're knowing our limitations. We're acknowledging that we're incredibly hard on ourselves. We're incredibly hard on ourselves. And a lot of this probably is trauma responses. We know clutter's a trauma response. We saw something amazing the other day saying how when we can regulate ourselves as humans, especially when you've had the trauma regulation, then your plants don't die. And so you can have plants and they will survive because you've regulated your nervous system. And that makes sense. We would understand that because we know that that's a reflection. We just wouldn't have had that accurate terminology for it because the process we're going through at the moment is regulating our nervous system. But it's not on a singular plane because of the multiple personalities. It's on multiple networks. So we have to keep doing it over and over again until we get to certain places. And we are doing so much better. It's just, we're actually communicating it now. And that's incredible. So we have to... Yeah, it's just that disconnection between the emotions and the knowing and bringing it all together through the entanglement. But we understand that because of the physical ailments of the EDS. What came to us earlier is it's like the challenge of releasing this and letting go comes from the physical body. And the best analogy we've got for that is like when we built our van, when we don't know what, or we're doing something, when we don't know what we're doing, so when you're fitting the furnishings or doing stuff and we didn't know what we're doing, there'd be like too much glue or too many screws, so that when it came to needing a bit of repair or to take something off, it was almost incredible to get off because it had been adhered on so strongly through glue and screws, and then it'd be quite a mess and a challenge to get it off. And that is the best thing we can say, like the faulty healing with the EDS on our injuries is like too much fittings. And so that's why we did the shorts about that tree that didn't let go of the old leaves. And so it's really about slowing down and being gentle, and that is what we're attempting to do, but we're still in the active passive and the passive active. So today our passive active meditations on slowing down and regulating our nervous system was to do a bit in the garden, since we had to kind of come out here and do whatever. Plus we have to do these little bits in the garden because otherwise then we'll get disappointed and we won't be getting things done, and we know the impact that has on us from hindsight and reflection over the previous years, because this has been going on for 7 years. So we wanted to come on and just share the impact of the emotions. And so it's like we must be getting tired as well, because we've had a physical day in the body and we've managed to do a bit of admin. So we did that phone call and we managed to get 2 emails sent off, one asking for a refund on Littleland's got sucked in with, I don't know, making music samples or something. We don't know. We're never going to get round to doing it, and spent almost £500 I think on the credit card, and we didn't notice this until looking back, until afterwards, and then we noticed it, and they'd got sucked in by the colours and the labels, and the titles and the names. And then you have that funnel where you've got, it's really good on the ClickFunnels because that's the ClickFunnels that we've been attempting to use. So this is all first-hand experience, knowing that people get sucked in, but we don't want to suck people in if they're vulnerable on that level that we've done. So we've got all these things that we want to do, but then we have to tweak them and accommodate them so they don't follow the whole commercial procedures that go in at the moment to suck people in to spend money that they necessarily don't need, don't want, and might not use. So it's amazing that we can see it from all these different perspectives. But yeah, the colours, it was like Quantum, Cosmos, Ruby, Empire. But we finally got that email off because it does say a lifetime, I'm not sure if it says a lifetime refund, but it does say a refund. So we just explained the situation best we could and asked if we could have a refund and all of that, and that then will pay off. We've got our other credit cards on the balance transfer that are being paid off. We're paying off £300 a month on all of that, which is really good because that's the first time we've managed to have before we couldn't even have direct debits, because we still don't have an overdraft, but we'd always get down to 0 in our bank, and then we'd incur bank fees on top of stuff because we wouldn't be able to keep on top of it. So the fact that we're actually able to not get down to 0 on our current account and have direct debit set up and keep on track of it all is again amazing. And the fact then that we've got these saving up a tiny little bit, paying off our credit cards is all really great progress. But again, there's the other one of us that's going, well, we used to be a bookkeeper and accountant. We used to be, yes, we had these little hiccups with our finances and stuff sometimes, but we actually used to be really quite good with our money. And the hiccups of finances was, yeah, there'd be a bit of retail therapy, but would never get ourselves into the situation like we have at the moment. But then we weren't as chaotic and vulnerable and frazzled and short fused in all of our nervous systems as we are now, and the majority of our money we never saved, because even though we lived in a van, which used to shock us, but that's because it all went on therapies to relieve our physical pain. And then we couldn't work, our work was having to lessen because of the physical pain, and we were struggling to walk. So it's all understandable. So why so hard on ourselves all the time? And we're sure there's lots of people in this situation. So we wanted to come on here and share, because actually we started off in the garden, we've done our grounding, we're doing our grounding practices, do the final pot So it came out of this pot with this apple tree, and we put it in the final pot. So that's those 2 pots, and these 2 pots that came were damaged, and so they sent another. They meant to send 1, but they were a bit damaged as well, so they sent another 2. So we've actually got 4 of these now. We've got 1 in the garage which we need to fix with fiberglass, and with our van, it was great for the, what's it called, you know, the thermal bridging, because if it was aluminium you'd get condensation a lot more, but it was fiberglass, so we didn't have to deal with that quite so much. And so we learnt how to fix fiberglass, so that's going to bring those neurological pathways and start catalysing them again, because we've got a fiberglass fixing thing, so we can learn to fix that other pot. Here's the other one there, the 3rd one, the 4th in the garage. That's empty because of it did turn out to be a red currant bush, and our intuition was accurate. It was really fascinating how we came to that conclusion. We wrote it all down in the comment. So that's empty until hopefully we can make it survive again. We've done that lavender, so that's the other lavender we've repotted. We have to go out the back and shred some more wood now to go on top of that. And then, so the pot that lavender was in was this one, so that was empty, and we could put the thyme in it that was in that one, and then that rose that we bought we could put in that pot. So we've actually done all this setups back on again. Our little ones sprayed these because slugs were eating the flowers. They were lovely red flowers. Hold on. I sprayed them with the spray that we'd done for the spider mites from our fruit tree. We just stopped the video accidentally then, rather than turning the camera around. That's what our body does with the different positionings. So yeah, we've been sorting out the spider mite on the thingy. So we've done those pots. This is the last pot now, so the next challenge is to make a strawberry tower with the metal fencing that was out the back on the back fence that we took down when tidying up the back area. We almost stopped it again. So that's going to be a challenge there. We're getting our DIY skills back. So yeah, this morning we did the bit of the gardening and those pots, which actually wasn't this morning, it took all day. I think we managed to stop about 3 o'clock because it was really slow, because it was really hard. We were aiming to stop at 12 so that we weren't out here in the sun, but that didn't happen. But we were able to be out here in the sun, and that really shocked us. So that goes to show all that we're doing with our electrolytes, with our vitamins, with our minerals, with the diatomaceous earth, with our food, is actually really working. Because sometimes it's just way too much and we can't be out in the sun at all, and our skin, we're getting a lot of heat rashes, and it is challenging like everything else, but feel like we just get tired of saying all that, but we're just being open and honest. So and then we went to the shop to get the bottles of soda water, and we got a bit of salad material, even though it was expensive, but it's better to get that. And then we came back, and then we were laying down with our legs up, and then I don't know, suddenly the 30-day thing on the computer tune-up came up, and suddenly we made that phone call. It was all very spontaneous. And then we did the 2 emails, because the other email was to Voomly Support, which is where we've got the Toonly and the Doodly from. Voomly's like Vimeo, it's a video uploading platform. Because we haven't been able to log on to that. So hopefully now we've sent those 2 emails, we'll hear back from them. Fingers crossed we'll get the refund, and fingers crossed we'll get an email from the other ones telling us how to log into the account and do what we need to do. And we did ask if they could show some goodwill and some compassion, and because it was meant to be 6 months we had, but it's 4 months gone already and we've not used it, saying that can you extend it 4 months for us due to our circumstances. So they might not, but if you don't ask you don't know, so fingers crossed they will, because that means then we've got another 6 months and we can start doing our Toonly and Doodly videos. But then after that phone call, it's like, well, we can't even answer questions on a phone call. How are we even going to be able to start doing these videos? We don't know where to start, we don't know what to do, and it's just like, well, so we wanted to come on here to talk ourselves through it and to speak out loud and to put it up then again on our channel so we can watch it back again, because when we watch it back we'll be so much more gentler with ourselves, and I feel that we are stringing a conversation together better now than we were with like yesterday's morning ones, which was very but that, these are us dancing through the full moon energies and the Sagittarius Gemini axes. Sagittarius internal moon, So it's the internal threads from the thighs, the liver, the hips, the sacrum, to the external layers of the lungs, the nervous systems, the hands, the arms, the shoulders, which is in your communication. This area up here, that's all the throat chakra area. So when you're doing reflexology, the upper body and the hands and the arms are generally related up to the upper body, and the lower feet are generally related to the lower body, to a simplistic level. So hopefully we'll watch it back and be gentle and passionate with ourselves. It's like, yeah, we went out in the garden and we did some physical stuff. We were out in the sun. We managed a trip to the shop. I mean, that used to happen once every 2 to 3 months if we were lucky, and we'd have to talk ourselves into it days before. Whereas we just managed to go there, almost kind of had an episode, but the lady came and picked up the basket for us off the floor because we weren't sure. We were going to just carry the bottles one by one from the aisle to the counter because they were too heavy for us in the basket, and we weren't sure the basket was going to break, and if there was a bit of an ordeal then we would have had a bit of an episode. But luckily it was quiet and she went and did that for us. And we're getting better with that because, you know, again, we've been so independent and self-sufficient our whole life. All of this kind of gets, you know, a bit embarrassing and a bit challenging, but again, that's us being hard on ourselves. And then we came back, we had a bit of food before going to the shop purposely, because if we go to the shop full up, then we're much less likely to get tempted into doing the sweets and the chocolates and stuff. But we're actually getting really much better with that as well. We did get some goat's milk, but we got goat's milk over the Oatly barista milk, because there's more ingredients. It's less, we think the vegan stuff and the vegetarian stuff like that, it's more processed, and we think it's got more stuff in it that's just not very good for us. So we did get some goat's milk so we can have some little milky drinks, because that just gives us quite a bit of comfort. So we'll have our goat's milk in our barley cup, or our chicory with honey, which is, we much prefer to coffee now as well. They're all originally our coffee substitutes and our tea substitutes, and we're having black tea actually with lemon, because that's kind of like a green tea. And we're just about to hang some washing up, so we put a wash on during the day, so that's really good. And we're just about to hang that up on the rail, the indoor, what's it called, clothes horse. And we were not now because it's going down, but we can put the dehumidifier on tomorrow in the day because of the sun, because then we'll use the overflow. And the fact with that is just amazing, because we're getting so much less stress over using these things now and not using them during the day, and then forgetting at night and not getting them done. And the fact we can put the dehumidifier on in the day for the clothes horse and not use any energy, that's such a relief off the stress as well. So we're having lots of weights lifted, and it's really good. And we're just hoping that even though we've gone on to reset again, and even though we don't seem to even be able to hold a conversation, and we seem to get really emotional, that we're actually deep in the cycle and the pattern of transitioning, but it's happening faster. And we need to still stay compassionate and gentle with ourselves. And I think it's really good we've said this, because there's been resistance to starting the chakra journey again. There always seems to be resistance, but we'll catch up. I think we'll start it again tomorrow on the Wednesday. Today's Tuesday, so that's the Mars, that's the Tower Day, number 16. So that always has an impact on us as well. And it's Capricorn. So they're very grounding, earthy energies, which are kind of heavy. So after the fire and the air of the Sagittarius and the Gemini, to then go from into the Capricorn has got to be impacting us as well. So it's really good that we understand the energies, but to understand it about someone else and to project your knowledge outwards, whereas we understand that we believe it's anyone. We believe that whatever we say or do as human beings is our subconscious attempting to get messages to our conscious mind. And when our conscious mind isn't ready to release, surrender, transform, metamorphosize the belief systems, situations are created where we do stuff for other people that are on those same belief system frequencies, so that it can kind of go in subtly and eventually happen. Or there's another perspective where we've been through it already, and then we support other people going through it again, go through similar frequencies on those levels, but still what we're saying, even though we project it outward to them, it's still for us. It's just maybe a different octave. They're on a lower octave, they're doing it in the denser frequencies. So some might say they're maybe a step behind, maybe not as advanced, but we don't like that terminology because it's all different on different levels. So we prefer the different octave, and it's like one, you're just on a different octave of the same note. Because, you know, the best teacher is the student. And things can get completely flipped upside down when we have students coming that have completely different perspectives. And for us, that's why for us it's really important to become our own teacher and our own student, because the most empowering thing is to learn how we learn, and we've got all different perspectives inside of us. And so this is more thing for us when we want to read the tarot and the cards, is not to say you, and not to, I know it sounds crazy, but not to make the viewer feel special, because if you're like us and you are vulnerable and you do have abandonment issues and trauma bonding, that whole process, maybe we don't see other human beings because of it, but that whole pattern still then going to happen with the YouTubers and the tarot readers, and you build up this bond and relationship, but sometimes from our perspective it's not a healthy one. And so we don't want to, because we're navigating through all this trauma stuff, the people that come to us are going to be probably on those frequencies, and so we want to empower them with really gentle, compassionate, strong love. Audito Momomo. Zen's doing his twitching. That's always really good, because that means that he's our energies are really entangled. So he's a really unusual pattern of twitching he did there. So he's helping filter stuff for us there. Thank you, Zen, because he's so relaxed. So yeah, we want to empower them so that they're not falling in. And so with the consumerism stuff as well, just have this thing where we'll say we, and yes, it will include all of us, but it's actually just we for them and for us. So that there isn't this, so that it's just really strong boundaries, because it's the gentle, strong love, not tough love. That's too much. But a way to help empower people to stand on their own 2 feet and to realise that we have all the answers from within. So I suppose it's actually really good having done this conversation, because there's lots of different stuff come out again, and just bringing awareness to something, but then vocalizing it where other people can hear and see it, shifts it. And so that's why we wanted to do that, because we're tired. And it's frustrating revisiting patterns after patterns. And we are scared. We talk about the suicide a lot again, and that scares us, because we want to live, and we know we're capable of things, because we have been in the past, so we know we can be in the future. But in the moment, when everything's so fragmented and disconnected and doesn't make sense, not with this, we know spiritual stuff and stuff like that doesn't make sense, but you know, just like, I suppose it's not that we need it to make sense, it's just, you know, that we haven't got it, have we? I suppose this is what it's like, switching from having lived in the left logical brain for the majority of our life, that we have Zen's twitching, we can see out of our peripheral vision for the majority of our life, and transitioning into the right brain, intuitive, heart-led, flow state living. And there isn't a clean cut transition, it's a back and forth, like we're doing that with our finger patterning, which is really confusing and chaotic for the mind, to the conscious mind up here, I suppose, being able to handle, especially when there is that such amazing internal observation and witnessing skills between many of us. Hence why we have to keep surrendering our conscious mind's need to know and understand, and know that we're just doing our best of the repetition with a twist at being present as present in each moment, with chop wood, carry water, do the dishes, do the washing, do the garden, and then to be able to balance all of that into everything. And the ideas have come into play, like we want to start doing, we've got specific ideas for doing like long distance Reiki healing. And so we want to actually put act as if, and if we're going to do, we won't do many, but if we're going to do like 2 I think there's like, we're going to do like no more than 3 Reiki sessions that have like specifics to them, where they're really deep, intense, and there's a video and other stuff goes with them. And then there'll be just one that there's no video, none of the deep, intense stuff, it's just the Reiki. So there might be like a couple of them, so there'll be 3 in total. We won't do more than 3 of the full-on ones a month. There'll be a week we have off, and then we can do 2 of the other ones a week, so that, you know, up to 2 of them a week, so there'll be 6 of them, so it'll be like 9 in total a month, 3 a week. And so what we're actually going to do is set aside the time that we'd do, so it'd be like 2 or 3 hours for the deep, intense ones a week, and then just like 1 hour for the other ones. So if we're going to, so that would be, let's say 3 hours for the intense one, an hour for the other one, and there's 2 of them, so that'd be 5 hours a week. We'll set aside 1 3-hour slot, 2 1-hour slots, and we'll just treat it as if we've already got clients having Reiki for the long distance healing, and we'll go in there and we'll go into the energetics of the Reiki and just do the meditation and just just act as if that's there already, and attempt to do the same thing with creating videos of, I don't know, of how we live our life, how we do the nutrition, how we drink the drinks, how we eat the food, the frequency healing, whatever it is we're doing. Set aside our time for that. And it might be that we don't do anything, all we do is sit and breathe, or lay and breathe, or just breathe and meditate and shake, but set the period of time where we're not watching anything else, we're not doing anything else, we're just doing that. So hopefully that's going to come into play. The fact we're doing this and sharing is great, because we're not holding in the embarrassment, we're not holding in the shame, we're not blabbling and splurting it out, hopefully, although we feel like that's what happened in the last couple of videos. But that wasn't within our control so much. But it's about not having it in control. It's about letting it flow, getting a balance between the two. Getting a balance between letting it flow, but not like kind of verbal diarrhea or video diarrhea, or, you know, like in excess. It's between the in excess and the not too much and too, we don't know. It's just getting the balance, isn't it, between it all. And the fact is, we're still managing to do the videos, even though we go into these deep states of lack of self-belief and lack of confidence, which just takes over, and the ones of us locked inside. But that's not the case. It is there. We just have to do other things to get there. And we've done all this, and we're tired, and when we're tired and exhausted and drained, it's going to be amplified. So we need to be gentle with ourselves, and so we need to hear all this, and we need to hear all this in the context how we did before, in the context that we're doing now, and in the context of when we watch these videos back. Oh, we've got the third one now. We've got Worm's sister, Pupsy. Pupsy, hi, how are you? You're a little cutie, aren't you? You stay out here, yeah? You stay there. So yeah, and it's not too long. I think the other one was about 20 minutes, so the other one was 2 hours yesterday morning. So yeah, it's still in the half an hour, 45 minutes, but that's okay, because anyone else that comes to it and it helps, amazing, love it. But we're doing this for us and others, and I suppose for us that we feel that's better, because there's so much more pure, unconditional, compassionate, gentle love in those energies, rather than the instant gratification consumer energetics that goes on to a lot of the other a lot of content that's created on YouTube and stuff. So I don't know, I think we did, didn't we? So this is us putting water in and just putting the leftovers in to get a second brew and get as much as possible. We're just going to have another bowl of this. So this has got all our, we put in some maple syrup, some coconut cream and some coconut milk, and it's got green and orange lentils in it now, but that's just a full on, that's all the fermented veg, so it's full on gut bacteria, and it was too salty and a bit much, but it's like we needed to eat it up. Oh, it's got cauliflower. We needed to eat it up, but we also need that bacteria in us as well, because Tito på mamma later. Yeah, my God, I'm so proud of you, my lovelies. We there's a little place on Thursdays now which does takeaway food and pizzas and burgers, but it's really bad, and we feel so ill after we eat it. But when we get really down and really emotional, with our gran just dying, we wanted to go and do it, and we haven't gone and binged on that food, and so I'm really grateful for that. And it might happen again where we do, but that's okay. If it ends up happening like 2, 3, 4 weeks from the first moment that we wanted to do it, we've used our willpower to make it not happen for that amount of time. And so the more we can get in with this food and all our because we want to get to the stage where we don't crave it and we don't want to eat all that stuff, I'm gonna get it out now, the cordial. So hold on. So there's the water that we've got. That's got some of the cordial in. That's got the cordial in. That's the cordial there. This is the cordial in the glass. That's the teas that we've already done. That's still the ready to use. That's a little bit of the elderflower champagne. And then those are the other 5 bottles of the champagne. So last time it was 3.5 bottles, or just over half, 3 2/3, I'm not sure. So it's just like to be fizzy, and it's so yummy. That was a bit watery on top because of the ice cubes. It's just like you've got a fizzy pop drink almost, but it's like a healthy fizzy pop drink. But even so, it's, you know, even if you're going to get the healthy bottle green elderflower bubbly stuff, it's because it's honey, it's not sugar, it's not made by other people, it's not made in an industrial big factory, it's made by us. So yeah, that's a really good note to leave on. We're going to go now and say bye. And anyone else that's feeling these energies, you can do it. We're doing it. You can do it. Not that you can do it because we're doing it, because we hate that comment, because you really never know what anyone else is struggling with. And some people, when they've not really struggled their whole life and then they go into a struggle, they feel like they've gone through something massive, whereas you've got other people that are dealing with much more than that all the time, and then they produce stuff and say things like that, and it's just like, oh please. So we're not saying that, but you know, just be patient and gentle with yourself, and just keep doing just try and do little things each day, because that's what we're doing, and it is working, even though we're in the emotions that we're not now. But we're purging and we're detoxing. So those emotions are those toxins come out through the body. So if it's coming out through the emotional body, and we're on it's all about orange at the moment. There's lots of orange stuff going on around everywhere at the moment. So I think this is not just us. I feel that on a massive global collective, it's the second chakra that's going on, and that's where Russell was in Mexico, wasn't it? And then the Glastonbury's coming on. It's the heart chakra, so there's a massive purging in the second chakra with connection to the heart chakra, and to stay. Amanda Ellis was just talking about staying heart-centered is really challenging, and it is really challenging in a way, but in a way, I don't know, we've been heart-centered connected our whole life, really, because we wouldn't still be alive, and we wouldn't have done the things we've done if we weren't. It's just being able to do that to yourself, isn't it, fully? And we're going deep. But yeah, it's a collective thing on the emotional body, and yeah, we've got it on our skin coming out, but then it's Capricorn today as well, the skin rashes and all that going on, and heat rashes. But I mean, even down in our private parts and nether regions, you know, our toilet habits and other stuff that's going on down there, we've got all these really old, ancient, deep physical, you know, thrush and all kinds of things coming back that we've not had for years, because we've always been on this self-healing journey. We'd stop wearing tights, we'd be very attentive to what we do and what we eat and what we use, because one of us was just like, well, you know, we've just started having the yeast again. It's like, guys, we haven't had that yet. The yeast is there, so that's not the cause of it. But well done for making that connection, but that isn't the cause of it, because we haven't had it yet. It's still brewing. We've had like tiny little glasses, but that amount's not going to do it. And we were having yeast in the bread, but we haven't got a yeast bread at the moment. Haven't had one of them for a while because we weren't using it right. So this has come on after stuff like that. But it might be that maybe there was a bit of a yeast build up potentially in one of the networks, and that network's been opened and released the yeast into another network, which has then caused this. But if that is the case in the body, then it's good news, because there's networks opening up and connecting with other networks, and in that process there is dissonance and there's pain and there's purging. But anyone that really that's done their alternative therapies and therapy work knows they call it the healing crisis, which we just don't like that terminology, but there is a period of time, like if you kind of smoke or drink alcohol or do anything, or when you work and then you go on holiday, and then you get ill when you're on holiday because you've finally stopped and your body goes, okay, we can stop now, we're not thriving on adrenaline, we can relax now, we need to just purge and clear out, do all of this, and then we can really get back into recalibrating and resetting. And so the healing crisis is the toxins coming out, whether it's through the physical body in whatever way, whether it's the emotional body of how the emotions are feeling, headaches, whether it's the breath and erratic and breathing. But we've been really good. We've been managing to use our Shinto side breath patterns. When we can't do a full deep inhalation through our nose, we'll do in through our nose, in through our mouth, in through our nose. And we'll do that outwards as well, along with our tongue and our mouth and our teeth stuff, because that's stuff mostly that we do, which we'd really love to be able to describe. Like, people can feel energy in their body, but they feel their physical body and they feel the energy in it. That's how we think it is anyway. But for us, we feel our physical body through the energetic body, because we not always been like that. That's how we are now, through the physical pain where there isn't that alignment. So when that energy is flowing through, it can't flow through because there's the knots and the congestion and the too much fitings and glue and everything. Hence why that whole thing, less is more, and to get into the subtleness, it's like those magic knots you get in rope, but there's a knot in it and then you just pull it really tight and it disappears. So yeah, we're managing to stay with our food, with our health, having our treats. We're going to have our champagne to celebrate. Hopefully that will be on the Fruma box opening, which is going to happen soon. And yeah, we're feeling better. I think if we hadn't have done this, and we feel if we hadn't have done this, that everything might have stewed a bit more. So hopefully we were aligned, accurate, right. We really don't like the wording right and wrong, but hopefully we're right in our thinking, that now we've actually vocalised the words out loud in a public space to someone, even if that someone's kind of us on the other end or someone else. That just helps to really shift it greatly. And I know we've probably heard that somewhere else. I mean, no one really now these days comes up with their own original ideas. It's just ideas it's stuff from other people, because our subconscious absorbs everything, and then we think we've had this idea. It's like, well, actually no, that's from there and that's from there. Or it's the monkey effect, isn't it? And one of you have it and one of you don't. We just noticed Mr. Boons in the background then. Anyway, we talk, don't we? See you later. Thanks for listening if you have. Take care. So we just have to add on at the end, because Leo, the herd, is about to be spooked. It's just the synchronicities that happen are just like they're just bombarding us fully. And with all the titles, like Eve's titles, Cindy's titles, San's titles, Mariana, we watch so many, even like Gregory Scott that's not on it anymore, Mystic Witch, Jenny Florence, Rustling Around, Reem. There's a lot, but we don't watch them all heaps and consistently. But it's only like the other day when we Googled the Fibonacci sequence again for a particular thing to do with 5 after one of Eve's videos, I think, or during one of Eve's videos. And then that's when we found that every 5th number in the Fibonacci is multiple of 5 or divisible by 5. And then but all the stuff that came up about the Fibonacci when you Googled it was like pretty much almost 50-50. There'd be one on technical analysis, which is like technical analysis for the stock markets or for cryptocurrency. And then there'd be one about the Fibonacci sequence and different like the, every 5th one's divisible by 5 and different things like that. But the thing that stood out for us with the technical analysis, because we've did that in the past, we can't access them at the moment either, we want but and we know this because we've watched it and learned it heaps with our Bitcoin YouTubers. Thanks Benjamin, Karen, and we all seeing them from the start. Thanks Jeb, thanks K-Dub, and thanks Tyler. So basically the Fibonacci you know, it's sort of, we know from our Bitcoin YouTubers that you got the bulls, you got the bears, and it's the psychology between the bulls and the bears, and then you've got the psychology. It's all just like a game, the psychology of the market, and the psychology of so you've got the fear and greed index, and the psychology of the market is all, like, you know, really important. But there's a specific saying in this Fibonacci. We might have it still up here. So if we have this, if we can give it you the accurate words. So the saying that basically says the Fibonacci is the tools is the key to understanding the psychology of the herd. And so that's when, you know, the people that kind of group together in their collective, whether it's the collective of certain fashions or certain dancing or certain cultures, or like we said with gardening, there's loads of different types of collectives, aren't there? But if you want to get out of that, it's better not to be in the herd from our perspective, because that's where true authenticity is, and true authenticity of transparency and integrity comes from not being in the herd mindset. If we're in the herd mindset, we're in the reactive human being rather than a responsive human being. And so therefore that's like when we're, and especially when we're an empath and we say, you know, that's not ours, that's the collective energies. It's like, well, no, the collective energies are us. The deeper we go into ourselves, the more we'll go into the collective unconscious of different collective energies, or the all of it. And that's then what teaches us to understand the different archetypal energetics in ourselves, going, oh, we're reacting to that, we've got a resonant frequency to that, it's a dissonant resonant frequency, like, oh, I'm going to be in denial and disown it, it's not to do with me, it's to do with them. And that's why then when we're faced with people we don't like, actually, well, why don't we like them? Because it's what we don't like in them, there's going to be some kind of frequency in that of what we don't like in ourselves when that comes up. And so for us, it's about not being in the herd psychology. So let's just see, is it on this Google one here? No, that's about Avios. Oh, we've just managed to sort out, we've got loads of air miles. Not that we can use them, but that's okay, because we can transfer them into Nectar points, and we can buy some more stuff for the garden without spending money on our credit card and make it look all pretty. So that made us really excited. Oh, it's not up here anymore. So yeah, anyway, San's title is The Herd's About to Be Spooked. It's just like, you know, is this what's happening with everyone out there? Is this what's happening with you if you're watching this? Because it is just like so much with us, but then it's good because then we see that and it kind of makes us excited and happy. I suppose that's a bit of the endorphin hit, isn't it? Which is what we're trying to kind of, well, no, because it is what we're trying to keep away from, so that we're becoming more stable. But actually, when we're just in a real kind of introverted, emotionally distraught energetics, which we manage to talk ourselves through a bit, and then we see that, we kind of get all excited. But then it's kind of like, well, are we leading ourselves into some kind of false sense of security? Oh, there's so many things that come up with it. We're just typing in the Fibonacci sequence again to see if it does come up. What is Fibonacci in simple words? No. How is Fibonacci used in real life? No. Oh, it's 100 twice. Well, there's no technical analysis coming up in this one. That's probably because we did a search the other day and we didn't actually open the technical analysis ones. I don't know. It was Fibonacci and gold. So it's Fibonacci and the golden ratio are. So we just put. Pardon us if you heard that. That's that curry we had earlier on today. Fibonacci sequence and technical analysis. Yeah, we saw that one the other day. Herd mentality. Oh, that came up. No. So we can't even see it. We've probably got it in our phone. We probably screenshotted it. But it's just like, it's nuts that we do these things, and then the next thing that comes out and these titles just stand out and come up, blare you in the face. And Leo's our North Node and our rising signs. So we've just been going on about that axes too. So anyway, we're going to have to watch that one, but we're going to put this at the end of it as well. You probably didn't need to know that. But yeah, is everyone getting this intensity? Condensed intensity of alignments and synchronicities between everything that's going on. It's not just like the titles of the YouTube and the tarot readers thingies, that it's like Virgin Radio, or put on Virgin Radio with Chris Evans, because that's live as well, and it will come out when we watch our crypto guide. It's live. We tend to do a lot of the live stuff to get those live energies. There'll be this, it will happen. Doesn't matter which it's from or where it's coming at, it's happening. And does that mean that we've gone so deep and we're really connected to that source energy, which creates that, like we say, we can't change someone else, but we can change the energy that they react to by going deep within ourselves? Have we gone so deep into ourselves? We just had to put one name now. We just had to think. Are we going so deep into ourselves, into our central nervous system, that we are having an impact on the collective unconscious, like we say you can, because that's what everyone does when they do that? But that's kind of what's happening, because then these people in the live moment, they're intuitive, and this is consciousness working through them to say these words to help connect us and get us all to connect and become conscious and wake up. We get really nervous saying it because, while children do have those kind of ego states where it's about them and make them special, like we were saying earlier, but that's just an innocence of youth and being a child and growing up. It's not like being the adult and being back-headed of like, oh, we're Jesus and we're impacting the world and we're changing everything. It's not like that. But we know we're not great with our words. So we don't buy no. Okay, it's not happening, is it? But okay, bye.